We're about to show you the 5 most common problems that are holding you back in pickleball.
And of course, we'll show you how to fix them. So subscribe if you like our content, and let's get right into it.
We'll do it. One of the most common problems we see in pickleball that is holding you back is flinching at the kitchen line, specifically when our opponent is about to speed up the ball at us. Now, I get it. Pickleball is a little bit intimidating because the distance between us and our opponent is very small, especially when compared to even a sport like tennis. So it's easy to flinch, get scared, or even run away from the ball entirely. But in order to become a better player, we need to fix that habit. And I've got a solution for you that will walk you through all the steps that you need to avoid flinching in your next pickleball match. Luckily, there's several easy drills we can implement that will help you counter your flinching when a ball is about to be sped up at you. We'll start slow and then work our way up to a more advanced drill. The first one is incredibly simple. We're just gonna fight our muscle memory. This is how we do it. We'll have our partner stand on the other side of the court. In this case, that will be Shay. There's Shay. And what Shay's gonna do is pretend to speed up at me, but instead of actually swinging at the ball, he's going to hit underneath it or miss entirely. The goal is for me to see that a speed up is coming my way and fight my initial reaction to flinch at a ball that's going to be sped up at me. So Shay's not even going to make contact to start. I'm just showing myself that I don't have to flinch when a ball is coming my direction. Let me show you what I mean. So Shay will drop a ball. He will swing hard, but not make contact. And I will avoid doing what I just did right there. Now let's try it again. And this time I'm gonna will myself not to flinch despite my body's reaction here. It's okay to prep like I am in ready position and even bias my backhand because I'll have an easier time deflecting the ball with my backhand. But the only thing I'm willing myself not to do is to run away, step back, or dodge. I'm gonna stand my ground and guard my body. Let's try it again.
Scary.
Okay. I'm also watching Shay's paddle in great detail while he's swinging. And I'm trying to make a prediction at where my paddle should go as a result of his. This also gives me something else to focus on besides just defending my body. I'm making a guess about where I think the ball is gonna go. Once you feel pretty good about that and you're starting to fight your body's instinct to flinch, we'll have Shay step back to the midcourt. For part 2, Shay is going to swing at me, but this time I want to do it with a little bit less pace and give myself a little bit of muscle memory that I can use when the pace increases later. So Shay will now be at the midcourt, giving me more time to react to the shot, allowing me to practice my deflection. Shay has the option to either fake like he was before or speed up the ball at me. The catch is I won't know what he's going to do to help build my reflexes. And finally, for the most advanced version, I'm going to have Shay step all the way up to the kitchen line. But instead of him just blindly firing balls at me, I'm going to start a dink rally with Shay. The key is that he has permission at any point during the rally to speed up at my chest when he sees the right ball for him. My job is to stand my ground and deflect the ball back at his feet. Let's practice. Shay can also fake if he chooses to. It's really up to him. One thing that helps me a lot in these drills is to focus more on my opponent's paddle rather than the ball coming right at me. That gives my brain something else to focus on and kind of ups my reaction before I have to make contact. Helps me prevent my own flinching, but do whatever works for you.
The next problem that's holding back your game is what we call panic drives. This is speeding up the ball when you're unsure what to do, and this usually happens in 2 different scenarios, either the kitchen or the midcourt, and we'll talk about both of them right now. So the situation we're talking about is when we've just hit a 3rd shot drop or maybe a 5th shot drop, we're trying to work our way into the kitchen, and our opponent is pushing us off balance. So maybe they're moving us out wide, or maybe they dropped a ball off short. Now in this position, what a lot of people do is they'll run to the ball and then freak out and then hit the ball as hard as they possibly can. We call this a panic drive. And the reason this is so bad is because our opponents are already in a really good position to respond to our attack. So let's say, for example, I'm standing here moving up into transition zone and my opponent hits the ball over to this side of the court. I'm going to run over here to get to this ball. And if I drive this ball, well, my opponents are already in a great position to counter that ball. And where am I? I'm on the side of the court, which means my partner is now in a very precarious situation. Instead, a much better option here is just to hit simply a drop shot, probably towards the middle, and then work our way up to the kitchen. But for some reason, whenever we feel uncomfortable in these situations, our first instinct is to get aggressive and hit these panic drives. And I guarantee you, these are holding back your pickleball game. When you think about it, your most successful attacks and drives are going to be when your feet are in a stable position and you have a lot of time and the ball is setting up nicely for you to attack. We're talking about scenarios where the ball is shorter in the court and I'm having to move to get to that ball. If I'm trying to run up to a ball that's short in the court and then speed it up, well, two things are going wrong there. Number one, I already have a lot of momentum going into that shot, which means I'm going to have additional power that I probably don't need to be applying to that shot. So if I'm trying to be aggressive on a shot where I'm moving forward into the court, so I have a lot of momentum already going this way, which will translate to power in my shot, meaning it's very hard to control a speed up or an attack from this movement position. And the second thing is that the closer I get to this net, the less my margin of error becomes. So when my ball is now below the net, I have to hit up on this ball to get it to go across the net and into my opponent's court. And when I hit up on the ball with momentum going in this direction, it's pretty much a certainty that this ball is going to be rising and hitting my opponent in a position that they can easily put that ball away and punish me for my mistake. Or the ball could just go out because it's hard to control in the first place. Overall, just a recipe for disaster. So let's talk about the solution to these two problem areas. The first is at the midcourt or closer to the baseline. Number one, you have to be split-stepped and ready before your opponent is making contact with the ball. Usually we're hitting panic drives because we feel awkward, we feel out of position, we're unfamiliar with the ball that's coming at us, so we just panic and hit a drive. But if you are sitting here split-stepped and ready and they hit a ball that's out wide to you, you're going to be able to get to that ball in plenty of time and not have to feel that awkwardness associated with being out of position. Therefore, you probably won't be hitting these panic drives. Number two, when you are in this position, go ahead and have your paddle low, because more than likely the ball they're hitting towards you is going to be landing around your feet, or when you get to the ball that you have to run to, it's going to be low to the ground. So if my paddle's already high in the air, I have to move my paddle low to the ground to make the shot. And that's a big movement that causes me to panic and probably put more pace on the ball than I intended to. Same thing if I'm running out wide, I want my paddle low, so when I do get to this ball, I can just easily hit a drop and then come back into the court. The other thing to consider when you're running out wide is to take some pace off of the drive if you do decide to hit it. What I mean is I don't want to be hitting a drive that forces my momentum to continue carrying my body outside of the court. I won't be able to recover very quickly if I do this. Instead, I want to come over here, plant on my outside foot. That way I can hit a soft shot and then move back into the court and protect my partner on the ensuing shot coming at us. And the other position where this happens a lot is up at the kitchen line. Usually we're running to the ball at the kitchen line. All the same things apply here, except one thing in particular. I would keep the ball traveling in the direction that your momentum is going. So if I'm starting back here and I'm running up to a ball that's short in the kitchen, I usually want to be hitting it in the direction my momentum is going, rather than trying to hit some crazy wrist shot and moving it across the court. It's just a lot easier if that ball is landing in front of me to put my paddle out and just gently poke it over the net than to hit some hero shot and try to win the point. This is super simple to do, whereas trying to hit a crazy topspin winner from here is really difficult to do. And that's what you should be doing if you're having to run up to get to a ball. That way you don't hit panic drives. So to really solidify your response to this problem, we're going to show you a quick drill that you can work on with a partner to make sure you're always doing this correctly. So I'm going to be starting at the baseline, and my partner here, Caleb, is going to be standing in his kitchen across the net from me. I'm going to be way back here. He's going to simply toss a ball or drop a ball right shallow in the kitchen, and the second I see it leave his hand, I'm going to run up to the ball, and my only goal here is just to simply hit a very soft shot into the kitchen and then recover and get back onto my kitchen line, get ready for the next shot. Okay, so we're working on here, not panicking, not hitting aggressive shots, but using our body's momentum to hit a really simple tap shot over the net. So that one was pretty far. He could even throw it a little bit shorter, see if I can get to that. One thing for my advanced players here to be aware of is your footwork and your first step to balls like this. So when I'm sitting here at the baseline and I'm split stepped, very often what people try to do is step backwards and push off to go forward. But you can get to that ball a lot faster if you stay on the balls of your feet and then fall into it and then take a step forward. This prevents you from having to waste time taking a step backwards and instead gets all your momentum going forward the second you see that ball being dropped short in the kitchen. So we're here. I see the ball going, I'm falling forward, I'm taking a step, now I can get all the way up there pretty easily.
Another key problem we see pickleball players make is failing to defend the baseline well. Let me give you some context. We all know that feeling when we accidentally loft a ball up, or maybe even our partner hits a ball a little bit too high, and now our opponent is looking at a smash, and we're stuck at the baseline, scared because they're likely going to try to hit a put away. A lot of players, especially intermediates, give up on the point entirely, or at best, don't even get close to reaching a put away that has any form of an angle or good power associated with it. But we're going to show you that that doesn't have to be the case no matter what your level is, because it's really all about positioning, not just giving up on the point. So we're going to show you how to defend the baseline effectively to give you the best chance to stay in the rally and put pressure back on your opponents rather than on you. So to understand what we should be doing at the baseline, we have to first understand what our opponent is most likely trying to do to put away the ball. Most people, when they receive an overhead or a smash, let's pretend Shay has that option because someone hit him a high ball. Their instinct, which is the right one, is to hit out wide. Typically, they're going to hit this area, sometimes if we're lucky, this area, or even as deep as back here. Because most likely, players are not ready to defend wide balls. In general, more angle means more chance to win the point. On top of that, Shay's going to generate some amount of power. So that ball's not only going out wide, it's very likely coming with some power. A lot of players get intimidated by that power and choose to either give up on it entirely or don't even make an effort towards the ball. But if we put ourselves in the right spot ahead of time, it becomes pretty simple to get it back over and over again. So let me show you the position that we need to be in to defend the most likely attack that Shay would make on the other side of the court. So now that we've talked about where a smart opponent would be hitting their putaways, it's time to talk about where we should be on the baseline to best position ourselves to defend those kind of attacks. It's actually pretty simple. Your first reaction shouldn't be to relax or even play reactive and just see where the ball ends up and then take off running. We want to prep way ahead of time. Since we know the ball will likely go out wide, and that's going to be the hardest to defend, instead of hanging out in the middle like we might normally during a match, we're going to position ourselves very wide. Because worst case, they hit back towards the middle. That's my forehand. Pretty easy to defend if I just shuffle slightly towards the right, but more likely they're going to hit far out wide. I need to be in a position to shuffle far off the court and lob back towards the other side. And to do that, I need to already be standing out wide towards my own alley. My partner should also do the exact same thing. So let's say Shay's on the right side in this scenario. We pop the ball up, both of us get ready, and we actually split the middle entirely. My forehand is going to take precedent in the middle if they do manage to spike it towards that direction. So Shay's going to bias even harder towards the right side because he knows I've got this covered and he needs to handle the right angle if it goes that far out wide. And just like we talked about earlier in this video, it's going to come down to footwork and positioning. Get yourself low in case they attack your feet. Make sure your paddle is low also, and be ready to move. The key though is we want to already be split step before they make contact to allow ourselves to make that shuffling motion that really isn't possible without a split step initially. Now that we know how to position ourselves, we need to talk about what we do when we actually reach the ball. A lot of people like to try to hit a hero shot, either drive the ball right back at our opponent, maybe try to hit a perfect drop so we don't have to worry about being in a defensive position. But it's a bit counterintuitive, but what you want to do is play safe. If the ball is hard for you to get, then you should play the high margin and lob the ball right back up to your opponent. People don't realize this, but the pressure is on your opponent to finish the point. It's not on you to keep defending. Sure, they might get lucky, they might hit the right ball, but hitting a perfect shot over and over again is exhausting to your opponent, just like it is on this side of the court. So don't be afraid to give them another lob, make them work for it. And with time, if they hit a little bit of a weaker shot or give you an opportunity, that's when we're going to try a drop to work our way back up to the kitchen. Take your time, be a brick wall, and that's how you wear down your opponents. You'd be surprised how many of these rallies end up a win in your favor because your opponent makes a silly mistake, not expecting you to get the ball back as many times as you did. Another big advantage to lobbing your opponent is often when they're hitting these kinds of overheads or smashes at you, they're generating a lot of pace. But that also means that your job on the other end becomes easier in terms of deflecting a lob back up to them. You hardly have to generate any pace with your paddle because it's already coming at you so fast. That means really all you have to do is reach the ball, poke it back up in a general direction, maybe add a little bit of topspin to keep it in the court, and your job's done because they've already supplied all the pace on their end. Your job is simply to redirect it back at them. So don't feel the need to generate a lot of pace. All you're doing is reaching the ball, making good contact first. If you can do that, then you'll keep yourself in the point.
One of the biggest problems that hold back your pickleball game is thinking that you have to be on a pickleball court to get better at pickleball, and this just is not true. One of the simplest ways to get better at pickleball and to hone in your game is to practice on the wall at home. So in this video, we're going to show you our 2 favorite wall drills to get better in the comfort of your own home. There's a ton that we could go over here, but these are the 2 best ones that you're going to need. Thankfully, our friends at Enhanced Pickleball sponsored this video and they sent us a Dink Master Pro. So that's what we're going to be using at home to show you these wall drills. And while this is one of the best options, feel free to, if you don't have one of these at your house, any wall will work sufficiently for what we're trying to do here.
The first drill we have for you is arguably the simplest, but don't let that deceive you. It does not mean that it's the easiest. The trick is it's all about improving your hand speed. What we're going to do is very simple. We're going to hit volleys against the wall. We're going to slowly improve our hand speed by focusing on making consistent contact, getting back to ready position between each shot, and also hitting these targets that we have lined up. I'm going to focus on these big 3 that we have right here. We've got this one on the left, this one in the middle, and this one on the right. To start out, I'm going to get a rally, get comfortable, and then once I'm ready, I'm going to work my way down the line and back left and right so that I can focus on targeting rather than just my hand speed entirely. But before I do that, if you're able, I like to set my backboard at just a bit of an angle so the ball bounces back up towards me rather than just back deflecting towards the ground. But no worries if you have to hit on a wall that doesn't have that, still completely doable. I just prefer it when I have the option. As you improve your reflexes and you get a bit more comfortable, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take another step closer to the wall, forcing us to improve our hand speed and be a little bit more reflexive and a little bit faster in our recovery and in our shots. So for our more advanced players, go ahead and get a little bit closer. It feels uncomfortable, but that's good. That's where you should be. Here we go. I'm still gonna try to work my way down the line here so that I'm practicing hitting my targets even when it feels tough. And just by repeating that incredibly simple drill, you'll improve your hand speed like never before. It's really simple. You can do it at home. Now let's show you one more drill that you can do from anywhere.
So we just covered a drill that pertains to one of the most common scenarios, which is hands battles. But another common scenario that you'll get into at the kitchen is a dink battle. So we're going to focus on that next. To begin with, unlike Caleb, I won't be using all 3 targets. I'll just be using the center target. And I'll be alternating between a forehand dink and a backhand dink. My goal here is to have every single one of my dinks hit right here in this target. And all I'm doing is just gently pushing the ball. So it looks like this. Push, backhand push, push, backhand push, push, backhand push. And the really crucial part here is between each of those dinks, you should see my paddle end up back in this ready position where I just hit that ball. The motion of my dink is not terribly large. I'm not finishing over my shoulder, but I'm letting my dink guide me back to my chest so I can then be ready for the next shot coming at me. Now, when you're using a Dink Master or another type of wall, the ball is going to be coming at you faster than it would be in a typical game because it doesn't have time to travel to your opponents and then they hit it back to you. So the time between your dinks will be quicker than usual. That is great practice to make sure that you're always ready for the next ball. So that's why we like to practice our dinks on a wall specifically. So another type of drill you could do is more of a pattern style drill. So maybe instead of just hitting this one target, you could focus on hitting the outside target and then the middle target, and then move to your backhand, hit the outside target, then the middle target. And this will simulate hitting down the line dinks and cross court dinks from both sides of your body. It looks like this. Forehand, middle, backhand, middle. Forehand down the line, forehand middle, backhand down the line, backhand middle, forehand down the line, forehand middle. Just like that. So with just a simple wall, you can imagine all the different varieties of drills you could do on something like this or just a regular wall. This is a great way to practice that does not include a pickleball court at all. If you don't have something like the Dink Master and instead you have to use a wall like this, it can also be a great tool for you to use. I would recommend putting a line at net height, which is 36 inches from the ground. So from the ground, 36 inches up here, about right here would be a line you could put there with either a marker or masking tape. And then I would also put some targets spaced a couple inches above that line along the wall that you can use, similar to the Dink Master.
But if you really do want to take your home drilling to the next level, we do highly recommend the Dink Master Pro. You can use it at home, use it from your garage, even use it outdoors like this. It's an awesome tool that helps you practice from anywhere. Here's a couple awesome features that we like about it. It's got 2 different sides for different speed levels. So once you feel comfortable with the blue side, you can flip it over to a little bit faster side with the Speedmaster Pro on the opposite. It's got a new wider face, which means more surface area for you to hit from. And just like we used in the video, you can rotate it for different angles so the ball bounces back up a little bit higher, giving you different options for your drilling. If you'd like to check it out for yourself, we have a link down in the description below for you. You'll get $20 off just for using code CRACKED at checkout. And there's even a Mother's Day sale happening right now for an extra big discount. It's really the best time to check out a Dink Master. Now let's show you the next problem holding you back. The next big problem we see on the pickleball court is spin blindness. Now that term may sound a little random to you, but let me kind of explain what I'm talking about. A lot of people know what topspin is. You know, the ball is moving forward and it's likely going to jump a bit when it lands. And a lot of people also are familiar with side spin. So when you slice the ball, it moves sideways in one of the directions. That means when it bounces, it kind of moves at an angle rather than straight. You've likely heard those concepts before, so I'm not going to go too much into that in detail. But the issue we see players struggle with is not recognizing exactly what the ball is going to do when it lands. You might know what topspin is, you might even know what slice is, but a lot of players don't recognize it when it's coming over the court, which leads to errors because they didn't read the ball before it bounced. So let me give you an example of kind of what I'm talking about. Let's say my opponent hits with heavy slice on the other side of the court. I may even recognize that he sliced the ball. The issue is I don't know how much slice he put on it. It could be a little bit, it could be a ton. And until that ball bounces, I have yet to know what direction that ball is going in and with how much pace. The key is we want to teach you how to read not only what the ball is going to do, but how much spin that ball has, so you're ready when it finally comes on your side of the court and you're able to react when it bounces unexpectedly. And there's 2 big ways that we're going to show you that help you read the ball's spin with more accuracy every single time that your opponent swings their shot. The first and simplest way to tell what the ball is going to do when it comes on your side of your court is to watch your opponent swing when they make contact with the ball. Now, in general, we're looking for an upward swing is going to mean that they're adding topspin. So when you see them brush underneath the ball, maybe follow through high, then you know that ball is going to be rotating upwards and dropping into the court. That also means that when it lands, it's going to skip and bounce aggressively once it hits your side of the court. That's topspin. On the other side, we're looking for a paddle that's either going downwards, sometimes even sideways. This means that your opponent is adding spin to the ball, specifically slice or side spin. So when they make contact with the ball, they'll do more of a chop motion. And that means that the ball is going to potentially bounce backwards. So when they chop, the ball is going to skid to a stop, perhaps go a little bit backwards. And when they do a sideways motion, the ball is going to have side spin. So instead of it just bouncing straight like usual, side spin will have the ball bounce, in this case, towards me. When they do it the other direction with their backhand, it can even go that way. That's why step 1 is simply watching what your opponent is doing with their paddle when they make contact. That tells you a lot about the shot that they're going to hit. But for our more advanced players, we're going to show you how to predict how much spin is on the ball after they make contact. That's in part 2.
So like we talked about, you can use your opponent's paddle to tell you which direction it's spinning, but you can also use your opponent's paddle to tell you how much spin they're applying. So I'm going to show you that and 2 other ways that you can use to estimate how much spin is on the ball so you know how hard it's going to kick in either direction. So like Caleb talked about, you can use your opponent's paddle to tell you which direction the ball is going to spin and kick. So if I'm going from low to high, I'm applying top spin. If I'm going from high to low, I'm applying back spin. Sometimes you can even go from low to high, but underneath the ball and still apply backspin or maybe a little bit of side spin. But alongside that, you can use the speed of their paddle to see how much spin they're applying to the ball. So if I'm hitting a shot like this, yes, that's top spin, but not a lot of top spin. If I hit a shot like this, well, that is a ton of upward momentum, which means a ton of topspin. Same thing on my backhand. If I hit a shot like this, yes, it's backspin, but not a lot. But if I hit a shot like this, well, now that's a ton of backspin being applied to that ball. So that's your first indicator of how much spin is coming back towards you. The second thing to consider is the type of spin that you hit the shot before that. So let's just imagine that my opponent over there hit a top spin drive to me. So the ball's rotating in this direction. If I hit backspin on this ball, I'm going to take all the topspin that they hit to me and apply backspin to it. So it's going to have even more backspin than a standard slice would have. If they had applied backspin before I hit this, and then I applied backspin, it wouldn't have as much backspin as a standard shot would have. So depending on the type of spin you get from your opponent and the type of spin you put back on it, that can also change how much total spin is on any given ball. And the third way to gauge how much spin is on the ball is to use your senses, both your sight and your ears. So you can visually see to a certain extent how fast a ball is spinning. Some balls are also a little asymmetrical, so they might have a slight wobble in it. The faster you see that spinning, well, you know that more spin is being applied to that ball. So if you can visually see these holes on the ball, it means it's probably not spinning very fast. But if it's spinning incredibly fast, you can't really see the holes moving as much, and so you know that it's moving incredibly fast. Also, you can judge it by the sound that the ball is making. So if you've ever received a really heavy topspin serve, that ball, as it's moving through the air, is making almost a whistling noise as it travels. That's your first indicator that that ball is moving with incredible spin, and so you should be prepared for the spin that's coming at you.
Now you're no longer held back from these top 5 problems, and if you enjoy our content, maybe you'll like this video that YouTube thinks is going to help you out even more than this did. So watch it.